Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that President Trump has just taken what is perhaps the single most aggressive step towards removing illegal aliens from this country that he has ever taken? Well, guess what? That is actually exactly what President Trump has just done. And curiously, he's just done it in the form of not one, but two brand new executive orders that he just signed into effect yesterday afternoon. Let's go ahead and break it all down. Now, I want to show you what these executive orders are first. Here's the first one. It's called the Restoring Integrity to America's Financial System Executive Order. The second one here is called Integrating Financial Technology Innovation into Regulatory Frameworks Executive Order. So if you want to go read those on your own free time, that's fine, but you don't need to, because we're going to do a complete and total comprehensive breakdown of why these two executive orders signed into law yesterday are so absolutely massive. You see, collectively, these two executive orders have just effectively made it near impossible for illegal aliens to financially exist at all inside of the United States of America. Banking, checking account, credit card, credit score, bank loans, financing. These two executive orders have just shut all of it down. Let me go ahead and give you some of the bullet points here so you really deeply understand just how massive this really is. Going forward, the United States of America will no longer tolerate, quote, risks to our financial system posed by the extension of credit or financial services to the inadmissible and removable illegal alien population, meaning they're going to get deported. So they are removable and now inadmissible. Going forward, what's more? Going forward, the U.S. Treasury Department will begin scanning for, one, payroll tax evasion by employers that are working with illegal aliens. Two, they're going to start scanning the use of foreign identity documents and shell corporations that are being used to conceal an illegal alien worker's status. Three, they're going to begin scanning off-the-book payments designed to conceal the payments to illegal alien workers. So all of this stuff, the Treasury Department is now scanning, hyper-analyzing, cracking down on. That's just, like I said, tip of the iceberg here. What's more, the Treasury Department is now requiring individual taxpayer identification numbers called ITINs and or social security numbers for all workers where legal immigration status cannot be verified. So if we cannot verify, is this worker here legally or illegally? Well, you got to hand over the ITIN or you got to hand over the social security number. Big development. These executive orders also now force, it's not optional. These executive orders now force financial institutions in the United States of America to collect and then verify customer identity and legal immigration status, giving the financial institutions themselves, now for the first time ever, legal authority to conduct probes into a client's legal status by working with the Department of Homeland Security. Just to be clear, prior to these executive orders, banks weren't even allowed to ask for this sort of information. Now they are forced to acquire this information and then run it by the DHS if there's any confusion. These executive orders also now allow financial institutions, for the first time ever, to financially discriminate against clients whose legal status in the country is unconfirmed. Most notably, giving financial institutions the ability to deny credit and finance applications based on legal status, designating illegal aliens as a brand new category of high risk. Now illegal aliens are in a high risk lending category. And obviously they are, because they are every single moment, by nature of being here illegally, they are at risk of getting deported. So they are categorically high risk. And then here's another massive one. These two brand new executive orders will similarly make it almost impossible. You guys are going to like this one. These executive orders are going to make it almost impossible for illegal alien workers inside of the United States to use any of our US-based financial institutions to send money earned in the United States out of the country back to their home country. These are generally called remittances, remittance payments. shutting them down. In fact, if you want to see just how massive this specific component really is, check this out. Every single year, this is going to blow your socks off. Every single year, right around 5% of Mexico's entire annual GDP comes in the form of remittances getting sent back into Mexico from Mexican workers inside of the United States of America. Folks, just to be very clear, 1 out of every $20 in Mexico circulating in the Mexican economy is effectively stolen from the United States of America in the form of these remittance payments. But just to be very clear, I want to give you some more information here, because really talking about Mexico, that's just a drop in the bucket. Listen to this. 27% of the entire Nicaraguan economy is in the form of U.S. remittances. 26% of the entire Honduran economy is in the form of U.S. remittances, money getting stolen out of our country, sent back to theirs. 24% of the entire El Salvadoran economy is in the form of U.S. remittances. 20% of the Guatemalan economy is in the form, once again, of U.S. remittances. In fact, this is going to blow your mind. Every single year, right around $130 billion in the form of remittances is effectively stolen out of the United States of America and sent back into Latin America. $130 billion per year, almost all of which is a direct result of illegal alien workers up here in the United States sending money back to their home country. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be more America first if we shut all of that down? If we kept all of those jobs for Americans? If we kept all of that money up here in the United States? Well, of course, and that is exactly what these two new executive orders have just accomplished. Complete and total shutdown. So folks, ultimately, with all of these actions combined that we've just gone over, now, as of yesterday afternoon, illegal aliens are officially getting debanked. They're losing access to financing and lines of credit in the United States. The remittance gravy train has officially come to an end. And anytime a financial institution isn't certain whether or not a client is here legally, a customer is here legally, then they just run their identity past the Department of Homeland Security. All of that is now mandated and in effect currently because of these executive orders. And by the way, what do you think happens if the DHS determines that the person isn't here legally? Well, now they've been identified. We know who they are. We know exactly where they are, where in the country, what their name is, what their address is. It's all their banking information. The DHS has it, and now they get deported. That is what happens. But now, folks, check this out. These two new executive orders aren't actually the only way in which the Trump administration is financially cracking down on illegal aliens. In fact, I've got something else I want you all to take a look at. The Treasury Department posted this just this morning. Today, Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned more than a dozen individuals and entities comprising two distinct networks linked to the terrorist Sinaloa cartel and its fentanyl trafficking activities. The Sinaloa cartel is responsible for a significant portion of the illicit fentanyl trafficking into the United States that kills tens of thousands of Americans every single year. So now the Trump administration, we've been talking about this, they've officially weaponized the U.S. Treasury Department, cracking down on not just illegal aliens, but also illegal alien cartels and gangs, foreign terrorist organizations, nipping this stuff in the bud. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent chimed in. He says this: as President Trump has made clear, this administration will not allow narco-terrorists to flood our borders with poison. Treasury will continue to target terrorist cartels and their fentanyl trafficking networks to protect our communities and keep America safe. Folks, isn't it just astounding how you can get all types of beautiful America First articles of agenda done when you've got a different person wielding the tool? You know, The Treasury Department is a tool. The DHS is a tool. The FBI is a tool. It depends on how you use them. I think we all understand that. Well, during the Biden era, when we've got Democrats in the White House, you effectively have some incompetent administration. They don't even know how to use these tools. At least they don't know how to use them to protect Americans and keep Americans safe. With the Trump administration, we are using these tools, the Treasury Department in this case, in the most America first way ever. And then there's something else I want all of you to take a look at, something else I want to share with all of you while we're on the topic of immigration here. Because just earlier today, Senator Eric Schmidt just added himself some great commentary on our ongoing immigration problem at large across the country. Take a listen to this. I think you're going to like it.
Here's the truth. This immigration issue, it's not going away. It is sort of central. It's the one electrical cord for President Trump coming down the escalator until right now. This is where Republican voters are. It's one of the reasons why I focus so much on this. It's not just an illegal immigration problem.
It's an immigration
We have
issue.
A legal immigration problem with H-1B abuse, this OPT, we're replacing American students. The American people get it. They're smart.
Yep.
They don't want Americans to be at a disadvantage against foreigners. And that's what's happening in the employment sector. It's what's happening at our universities. So President Trump got this right a long time ago, and I think more of my Republican colleagues need to see the light on this and be tougher on immigration.
Well,
And so, folks, I think all of us here in this community, if you're tuning in today, I think all of us are pretty much on the same page. We don't just have an illegal immigration issue, as Senator Eric Schmidt says. No, we have an immigration issue. I wish, sincerely, I wish it was that simple. Illegal immigration bad, legal immigration good. I wish it was that simple, but we live in a very complex world. This is a very complex problem. And the matter of fact is our immigration problem is not that simple. I'll give you an example. What am I talking about? During the Biden administration, we saw the Biden administration, they brought in legally millions of immigrants from the third world. They were brought in legally under temporary protected status programs, refugee asylum programs. Guess what? They were brought in legally. Does that necessarily mean that it's good? Did our country get better? Were American lives made better? Was the American housing market made better? Was the American economy made better by nature of bringing in all of these, I don't know what, probably a good 3 or 4 million of them were brought in legally. Now, most of them, 20 million of them were here illegally, but a good fifth of them or so, a good sixth of them, they were here legally. Technically speaking, does that make it good? Does that make it not problematic? No, of course. We've got a problem. We need to completely reassess our entire immigration system. That is exactly what President Trump is doing. And you know what? Thank God for that, because that is what it's going to truly take if we want to actually put America first.